Episode 3 on the Toyota. On the last one, I made a comment about bag trucks that don't lay out, and I seem to hurt a lot of feelings. So everybody thought I was talking about them. So if you really want to know who I was talking about, it was okay, so as you can see, I set the cab back on, hopefully for the last time. Pulled the front fenders up. I just wanted to be certain I was getting enough lift to fully untuck these front wheels. So the front is now fully bagged. I had to change a few things to get enough lift. I needed about 9 inches to fully untuck those, and it's getting about 10 inches now. So fully aired up, it untucks them about an inch. So I'll show you guys the front suspension cycling a little bit, and then I'll tear a few things apart and show you what I changed. Okay, so here it is, aired up about ride height. And as I mentioned, I had to rework the front a little bit. I had a few issues, mostly to do with not getting enough lift to fully untuck these front wheels. But yeah, I reworked them. I only need about 9 inches of lift. It's now getting about 10, so I can turn fully lock to lock. But what I changed on the front, if you remember on the last video, I made these lower plates bolt in because this bag was sitting out a little farther and it was covering up these ball joint bolts. So I was making that bolt in so you could get to it. And I've done that a few times running a 6-inch bag, and it's always worked out fine. But once I got both sides done on this, and I need to run a 7-inch bag to get enough lift because this thing is pretty low. The issue I was having once both sides were done and I was able to air it up was the top of the spindle was coming into contact with the bag when it was fully inflated. So I needed to move this whole bag in a little bit. And in order to do that, I don't know if you can see, but I notched the factory frame rail behind the bag, notched it in about an inch, so that'll all get plated and boxed in once this is all apart. But I did that, and at that point there was no reason for this bottom plate to bolt in, so I just welded it to the arm because these bolts are now exposed, so you can get to them no problem. But that gave me enough lift and no clearance issues. The next thing I did, these factory arms, they're usually plated farther back, usually about right in here, but fully inflated, they were hitting the top of the bag here. So I just trimmed it out and then just reinforced the outside of it. The factory arms have maybe a 1/2 inch rolled lip on the outside. I just went and added some 1.5 inch flat stock and welded it all up I'll smooth it out, make it look a little better later on. But that allowed me to get the lift I need and no clearance issues anywhere. And I think I could actually run an 8-inch bag in the front of this now if I could find some offset tie rod ends, but there's really no need to. These stock control arms, they max out with a 7-inch bag. So I'm going to run them for now. And I get plenty of lift, so really no reason for a bigger bag. But that's the front at this point, and I'll get this cab off and go to the next step. Okay, so I'll give you guys one more look at this thing while the cab's off. You can get a little better view of everything before I rip it all apart. But it gets a ton of lift in the front. And no clearance issues. Should ride decent with that big bag. About the closest thing is the top of that spindle, and it's got a nice I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch gap, which is plenty, so shouldn't have any issues with it. So I'm going to tear it down to the bare frame and start on the week's worth of welding and grinding on it. All right, so the frame, it's all stripped down as far as it can possibly go. Got about a week's worth of welding and grinding on that thing, and that's no fun to watch. So next time you see it, that'll all be done, and we'll get it prepped and ready for paint and go from there. Remember, always clean up your shop at the end of the day. We all know somebody with a filthy, nasty shop. You can't find anything, can't get anything done in it. That's embarrassing. So don't be that guy.